All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Degenerate NFL podcast. I have two of the guys with me today. Always makes that more fun. Dalton and Zach. Dalton has been on for a little while, and honestly, considering the state of his team and Zach's team, and even at least this past week, my team, kind of surprised any of us wanted to show up tonight, but I appreciate you guys being on. We'll talk about all of our team's games: Steelers, Dolphins, and of course Raiders. But before we do that, we're going to have a couple conversations, mostly about one team in particular, the only winless team still in the NFL, which if you had told me after week one that the Jets wouldn't have won a single game up to this point after the way they played my Steelers, I would have been very shocked about that, but unfortunately it's been all downhill for them since then, but we'll get into that. Dalton, how you doing?
Pretty good. I'm trying to just forget Sunday, but
Yeah.
overall, good. The Jets, though, it's not the Jets. Raiders aren't the Jets, so there's that.
Yeah, there's that. Everyone can say they're not the Jets right now. Zach, how are you doing after your team's most recent, let's say, performance?
Oh my gosh. Okay, my girlfriend has this thing. It's like a touch, like it's a lamp. I gotta turn that away. Not great. I'm not all about what's been going on. Football's not fun this year. It's solely just a job for me. So yeah, not fantastic.
Yeah, Dolphins certainly they put on a display of some sort this past Sunday. We will talk about that game as we will talk about again all three of our teams' games because had to, and also there is reason to talk about all of them to some degree. So I think that will be interesting. But yeah, want to talk about the Jets benching Justin Fields. Another quarterback gets benched. The second former Steelers quarterback from just last year to get benched, which is, I got to say, guys, very funny for me. Not going to lie. Because I at least thought, Fields was progressing a little bit with the Steelers in some certain ways, and then obviously week one happens, and then pretty much since then he's been, outside of unfortunately maybe Dalton's quarterback, the worst quarterback in the league, and even Dalton's quarterback still better than him probably, because at least
I don't know.
Well, here's the thing: Geno Smith attempts to throw the football, it just doesn't go very well. Justin Fields just gets sacked most of the time and then doesn't do anything with football. So you can at least say Geno's trying.
Yeah. But he's not allowed to try anymore. He was so bad. They now have him running an offense that is basically designed for a rookie quarterback their 33-year-old veteran.
It's not great. I'm not going to lie. I'm still mad about it.
Listen to this. He threw one pass over 20 yards this week. 2 passes over 10 yards.
Yeah.
I didn't know you guys signed Tua.
Right? Yeah. Hey, listen. I still can't figure out what the hell happened to Geno Smith. I'm blaming the Raiders because I have no other choice but to blame the Raiders. It feels like that's all I can do. But yeah, I don't know.
It's a little bit. He also is just cooked.
Oh no, he's not good. But the fact that he went from like legitimately very good to legitimately should be benched for maybe Kenny Pickett of all people is not good. No. It's not good.
What a change!
I know he played like first snap he fumbles it. I know it's bad. It's just bad over there, man. The juju's bad.
Wait for Aiden O'Connell to come back.
Right, yeah.
I mean, we'll get to it later, but yeah, I had the exact same feeling watching the Dolphins and what they decided to do.
Yeah. Well, again, we were definitely going to talk about that. But yeah, Justin Fields benched. That did not look very good. Tyrod Taylor came out and tried. Still didn't look very good himself. I think the Jets are just not good.
He was serviceable at least, though.
Yeah, but just a lot of just throwing it to the other team and hoping it didn't work out for the other team, and it worked out for the other team once. So, well, he at least tried to do stuff, though, to be fair.
Can we just say how weird it is in the year 2025? I mean, as weird, of course, we got Aaron Rodgers and Joe Flacco, and we also had
a barn burner, too.
We had Tyrod Taylor sighting this week, and we had a Jacoby Brissett sighting.
And not just two sightings of Jacoby Brissett in 2 weeks, and good sightings. Legitimately great sightings of Jacoby Brissett, which is also hilarious.
It's just crazy that it's 2025 and I feel like it's 2012.
Yeah, it's
I mean, when you go up and down the list, there are some names starting right now. It's not great. I'm amazed that that Carson Wentz made it out of that game starting. I thought that they were definitely going to go to Max Brosmer at one point.
Listen, Wentz wasn't good, but he does the thing still where he'll just hit a throw where like, all right. and he gets you back in for a minute,
again,
and then he
right now we're talking about Carson Wentz starting in 2025.
I'm aware it's not good out here, Zach. We're doing poorly.
No, it's not.
Yeah, again,
and Andy Dalton.
Well,
you didn't mention Andy.
Yeah, good old Andy. Yeah. And the old AFC North quarterbacks are all around. Yeah, because Bryce is banged up. Yeah,
because Bryce Young got hurt.
Oh, that's right. Andy Dalton's playing football.
Yeah, he's gonna have to play because Bryce has I think a high ankle sprain or something. So he'll play a little bit at least. We'll see how long Bryce is out for.
What year is it?
Dude, you're telling me. I had to watch Joe Flacco carve up my defense like 5 years post the last time that happened. I can't be.
Yeah, but we knew that was gonna happen after that press conference on Sunday.
Listen, I wrote an article, not to get off topic before we get into games. I wrote an article about how bad of a look it was for Tomlin after that, for him to say that quote and then get destroyed by Joe Flacco. And all the comments that I was able to find from different places on it were like, do you even know what it means for him to, it's like, do you not, my point is that he complained about a backup quarterback getting traded within his division to then get stomped on by that backup quarterback for his new team. That's just depressing to see, dude. I don't know what to tell you. Like, it's so predictable, though, too. It's hilarious.
Well, yeah. I mean, I never bet Thursday Night Football, and we talked about it on the gambling show. Like, I'm hammering.
Oh, me too. I said money line was that's one of the two I hit on my picks. I knew I should have had him as my lock. It would have just been funnier then. But no, like it. So yeah, it's a whole thing. We'll talk about it. Let's start into talking about the games, though, and I want to start with Dalton. I want you to talk about the first game of year 2 that you want to talk about.
We can rip the Band-Aid off.
Yeah, I think we should. Honestly, this is what we should do. Each of our first 3 games, like each of our first.
I feel like we kind of set up. We kind of set it up to where like the first game that we want to talk about is just like, oh my god.
Yeah, it's got to be our game.
And then we can get oh yo, but this was interesting.
Exactly. Yeah. So let's get it. Let's do Raiders Chiefs here.
So, 95 yards total offense.
It's pretty good.
It was incredible. Lost in it. One of the greatest displays of punting in a very long time. Mm-hmm. Like AJ Cole, I mean, every punt buried inside the 20 or inside the 10, and the Chiefs would just march the entire length of the field over and over and over again. And then, like I said, Geno Smith is basically running an offense designed for a rookie because he forgot how to play football, and he literally can't do anything other than make a predetermined read. It's so horrible. You have this revamped defense that
we'll call it that.
Just looks absolutely so horrible, so slow. I mean, Landon Roberts, Devin White, and Jamal Adams. Those are your linebackers, and the only one that can kind of run is Jamal Adams, and he's playing linebacker because
safety.
He's too slow to play safety anymore.
Yeah,
and it's not even just the revamped, the new guys coming in on the defense that look terrible. It's the fact that Pete Carroll came in and took a Patrick Graham defense that was okay, and he's making guys do things that don't make sense. Like Isaiah Polamau playing as a deep safety just doesn't work. Needs to be in cover 2 or in a shell. And you have Max Crosby slimmed down, dropping into coverage sometimes, doing all this weird shit instead of, just going after the ball.
Yeah.
And the defense looks so horrible. The big thing in Raiders Twitter this week has been, would this team lose to the 06 team? And I think they would. I think this team, even with Andrew Walter dropping back in 7 dropbacks in the bed and breakfast. Yeah. In the bed and breakfast offense.
You have no idea how close those conversations are in Dolphin circles, but the 07 team.
Oh, yeah, the 07 team was awesome.
Yeah. It's so bad right now. And lost in this, though, is also Chiefs look good. I mean, like.
They did.
Rashee Rice is back. She's good, but also I don't think you can really tell because the Raiders are just so bad right now. Pete Carroll, I know there's been so much change and nobody wants the change to stop more than me. But Pete Carroll needs to go. Like I said, put him in not even retire. Like he needs to go he doesn't need to be fired. He needs to be involuntarily placed in an old folks home because he does not. He's actively forgetting how to coach, and it's so bad. He's so out of touch, and like he just doesn't get it. And also, the idea of bringing him in was to win. Now that's clearly not happening. Yeah. What are you going to do? A 3 to 5 year rebuild? Yeah. And I mean, anyone can look at an actuarial table and tell you. I don't mean to sound rude, but I mean, there's what's more likely in 5 years from now? The Raiders are contenders, or Pete Carroll's dead. Like, he'll be 79.
If you want to play the averages, I don't know.
Like,
I mean, I hear what you're saying, Dalton, and the problem is that's exactly what Seattle already did, and Las Vegas didn't get the memo. They already put him in the front office, and then they were like, "Hey, what if you come out and do it one more time? Just one more time."
Yeah. Insane.
So, yeah, I have a couple stats I'd like to talk about from this game. This is my big takeaway from this game, because obviously I wanted Dalton to lead this conversation, but we talked about Dalton, 95 yards of total offense. On 3 kick returns, Raheem Mostert had more than that for this team. So you had more kick return yards. You did offensive yards, period. So that's tough right off the bat. Also, you had 0 passes defended by anyone not basically, I think it was just Lealu, the defensive tackle.
Yeah.
No one else on this team got a hand on a pass all day.
The defensive tackle.
Literally, he got 2 of them to his credit.
He's been fantastic this
year.
Yeah.
I've actually heard that. Yeah, I think he has been. You had 30 offensive plays.
Yeah.
Which is sad, because you think, 30 offensive plays, no wonder they only had 95 yards. That's still barely 3 yards per play.
Yeah.
Which, in case you don't know, that's not good, folks.
What kept happening is the Chiefs would score, the Raiders would get the ball at the 35, they'd get to the 40, punt, Chiefs would get the ball at the 10, and then go the whole way down the field for 8 minutes.
Yeah, that 30 plays, Patrick Mahomes had 35 pass attempts.
Yeah, he had more pass attempts than the Raiders had plays in the game. Another one I love, first downs discrepancy.
Hold on, you mentioned that, sorry.
Yeah,
also worth noting, Patrick Mahomes was out of the game before the end of the third quarter.
Yes, correct. Did not have to play this one very long.
That's bananas, because that means they did not make a pass attempt after they took him out.
Why would you?
Because they were kneeling the ball with over 2 minutes left. The Chiefs scored.
Oh yeah, no, I saw that. Like, they were just willingly punting it away. Like, you can't do anything. Here you go. Try again.
It's mind-boggling. So another one. This was my favorite one that I found. Okay. They had 3 first downs. Raiders did. First, which, by the way, I don't even think you have to say anything more than that. 3 first downs is incredible. That's 1 first down for every 10 plays you run, which, another thing, that's not a good ratio, folks, in case you're wondering. No. The Chiefs had 30, which means they had 10 times the amount of first downs as the Raiders. I would reckon that has happened very few times in the history of the sport. I don't know how many times. I don't have the stat for that. I would love to find out. It can't be more than a handful of times. There's no possible way.
No.
But you know what? Geno Smith didn't throw an
He didn't throw an interception, you're right.
So, isn't that a win?
Hey, you guys won the turnover battle. You got a forced fumble. There you go. There you go.
Yeah, I'm gonna backpack off of what Dalton said at the end there, and that's where the Chiefs look good. And the Raiders might not be the greatest competition, but that also ignores the fact they put 30 up against the Lions last week, 28 up in a loss against the Jaguars week 4, 37 up on the Ravens. I mean, they've been putting up points. Yeah. So, the offense has figured things out. Was there any long term with Hunt? Did he end up coming back?
I don't care, frankly.
Yes,
no offense
he did come back.
Hunt, but I don't think it
matters. Okay, only because he is the only semblance of a run game for them, and that is actually kind of important.
Yeah.
Well, he's not doing horrible. So like,
no, I'm just saying that's like Kareem Hunt in 2025.
Yeah. No, the leading rusher for the Chiefs, I believe, is Mahomes.
I believe he's still the leading rusher.
Yeah.
After some of the names that we rattled off at the beginning of the year, is having Kareem Hunt as your running back really all that bad?
Not
the beginning of the year, but the beginning of the
I don't
show.
have to like it,
but I mean, yeah, but I mean, I'm sorry, Pacheco can't do anything anymore for some reason. Like he's just like not there. Like, so yeah, they're good though. This is the Chiefs that we've come to be scared of, not what we saw at the beginning of the season. So it'll be interesting to see how they go over the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, you mentioned the Hunt injury. Here's how chill it was on the Chiefs sidelines. The way the sideline reporter found out that that Kareem Hunt was okay is Travis Kelce went over and told he's like, Kareem's okay.
Yeah, he literally
tell everyone Kareem's okay. And it's like, if you have time to just do that, like,
yeah, you're
literally
not,
like you're just doing whatever you want.
This game has been over for you for a while. It's
but that was like the second quarter.
Yeah, I mean, again, there's a team that scored 0 points. I don't know if
it was. Oh my god, I have watched a lot of horrible Raiders games. I don't think I've ever seen that.
Again, like there's several stats that I mentioned that I can't imagine has happened that many times in the history of the sport for as long as it's been played. So that's never where you want to be when you're on the receiving end of the bad side of that. So, but yeah, we won't make you talk about the Raiders right now.
Move on.
Let's talk about a team that did so much better because they scored 6 points. Browns versus Dolphins. Zach, lead us off. Talk to us. Tell us how you're feeling. What do you think about this one?
Do you know what this sad thing was?
All of it, mostly?
When they kicked that second field goal going into the second half, a part of me inside was like,
okay, yeah,
they figured it out.
They added some points,
and then I'm actively doing my thing over at PFSN, writing my articles, my first to markets, and I just see a message in the chat because I watch Red Zone. I don't watch the games because I'm not going to put myself through that torture. Yeah. I'm not stupid.
Smart.
I'm gonna watch real football, not whatever the Dolphins are calling this crap. So all of a sudden I see a message there like, oh no, Tua. And I was like, oh, what do you do now? And interception would be one thing, but pick six on a screen pass. I'm just like, oh my gosh, man. And then the writing was on the wall when I got the prompt during the London game to write about the depth chart change because they made Zach Wilson the emergency and he was inactive and Quinn Ewers was going to be the backup. And I'm like, oh, this is happening. This is absolutely happening. And I don't even it wouldn't if he had. The problem was he didn't throw any interception in the first half. It took like a meltdown in the third quarter and the beginning of the fourth, which, to be fair, Ewers went in with 12 minutes left.
Yeah.
So, there was a lot of time that if you really thought and really sticking to your guns that Tua was the guy to stick through and get these issues out, no. McDaniel showed that he was like, nah, it's time. I see it. Because he's coaching for his job at this point, and that's what's going to happen. That is absolutely what's going to happen because you can't keep him out there, even with Quinn Ewers almost throwing an interception on the first snap
Again,
that he
I hate
played.
To break it to you, it's not going to get better with Quinn Ewers.
I don't know because he still had a higher average pass completion than Tua did,
sure.
And Tua had 23 attempts and Ewers had 8. His was only 6.6, but still,
he will attempt more actual real passes than Tua will.
Going to actually be a quarterback and not do this stupid timing shit that doesn't work. It doesn't work anymore because Tua is cooked. His brain got scrambled. I admire his, every time that he takes off, I'm like, oh my God, it's going to happen again. He's dead. Yeah. He's dead. And he's finally learned how to slide. Thank God. But
it took him about 6 years, if I'm wrong. Yeah.
Every time I clench my cheeks and I'm like, oh my God, this is it. Here it comes. And it hasn't happened yet. But I shouldn't have to worry about that with my quarterback, that his neck is made of glass and any sort of forceful hit is going to cause him to miss 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Like that shouldn't be an issue. And then on top of that, you're telling me you're not going to make passes more than 5 yards down the field? No. Pay him $50 million to sit on the bench because you're not going to cut him until after 2026. You can't.
Yeah.
That's that. He is Deshaun Watson, but not a horrible person. He's just a bad decision that you gave too much money to when you really shouldn't have done it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fun. Well, I don't know about fun, but interesting Tua stat from this week.
Oh boy.
So 3 interceptions on 23 attempts. That means in less than every 8 times he threw the ball, it was going to the other team.
Yeah.
Do you know what my favorite Tua quote is?
What? About the meetings?
I don't turn the ball over in bunches. And then he does shit like that.
I do remember that quote, and I remember seeing it, and I thought to myself, I'm like, I think you might be the greatest example of a bunches of turnovers quarterback currently playing in the NFL right now. Like, not even trying to be mean, like, you might, like, because his thing is he'll play, like, 5 games in a row where it's, like, boom, like, 20 of 28, 290 yards, 3 touchdowns, 30 of 38 for whatever, and then, like, he's just rattling off numbers, and then he'll play a random team whose defense knows that he's going to do the stuff he does, and then he throws 4 interceptions and looks like the worst dude you've ever seen in your life. And it's like, yeah, Tua, because that's how it works for you. If you play a defense that knows what you're doing at all and can actually account for it, you're just going to throw them the football because you don't look at who you're throwing to 90% of the time. That's what's going to happen when you do that.
Yeah, I mean,
his 3 interceptions also ignores the 3 fumbles that he had that he thankfully was able to recover. And Larry Borum won, but like that's the thing, like, dude, you can't put the ball in harm's way 6 times in a game against the Cleveland Browns. Like, we're not even talking about a hard team to play against. This is the Browns. Like,
they perhaps
you have them looking like they're the freaking Colts.
Yeah. The Dolphins may have perhaps given Dylan Gabriel another week.
Yeah.
Very possible.
Because they literally didn't need him to do a damn thing.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, I don't know. I mean, he's only getting a week because he didn't mess anything up. It's not like he actually had to do anything.
No, I mean,
he had 100. He himself had 100 and what is that? 28 yards. So like, not much greater.
Yeah, but the point is, they won, so the Browns can save face, and they can keep up this charade of Shedeur Sanders not being their guy for another week for some reason. I don't get it. Like, they clearly believe in him because they're clearly setting it up for him to become the starter. Like, it's going to happen. And for whatever reason, they're really trying to drag it out as much as possible. I think they're just trying to humble the absolute shit out of him. But, like, I don't know how they could do it anymore before they actually break him.
The only thing that surprised me about the Browns is the fact that Kenny Pickett did not suit up to play a game for them, like to start a game for them. That's the only thing that surprised me so far.
I mean, hey, Raiders need a backup, No, this is a classic. This is one of those games from Tua where I'm like, there's been a long time where when he was doing much better than he's doing now, and I was still like, hey, I get it. The numbers are good. I like some of the stuff he does. I like the way this offense is built. He's still one of the most limited throwers of the football you will see in the NFL. And at some point, whether it's in the playoffs, as we've seen, or in bad games or like bad weather games, you're going to see it, and it's not going to work, and it's going to consistently not work. And unfortunately, that is exactly what has continued to happen with him. He just turns the ball over, man. And he does it, again, despite what he has to say, in bunches. They are in terrible moments and terrible games by him. And this might have been collectively the least talented thrower. Like you put the arm talent combined of these two, and it might be like the least talented throwers we've seen play an NFL game against each other in a while. Like, it's actually hilarious how little arm talent was on the field in this game. Like, it's just tough.
Was Brian Flores right about Tua all along?
Yes. Of course he was.
I don't think no. I don't think Brian Flores. No, the only problem with that was I don't think he was right to do what he did.
No, what he said about him was correct. Now, should he have done that?
What did
No.
I forget? What was his quote
He basically
again?
was like, he sucks, basically.
Yeah.
Is that he just like he thinks he sucks.
Well,
Which unfortunately correct. However, probably premature at the time, and also just maybe don't say that about the quarterback of your team. So definitely not right to say it, but he was correct in what he said.
yeah, don't point out that you don't have a say in the roster construction of your team.
Yeah, it's not ideal. But again, like this Dolphins team, man, like they're the
It's
thing
bad.
that makes me the most sad is this defense is just so tremendously bad. And I can't figure out, like, I understand the secondary has no talent outside of like maybe whatever's left of Minka. But like for them to be this bad in the front four, especially for most of this year, is baffling to me. Because you have three guys who have been really good edge players in this league. Obviously, like Chop only was rookie last year, but like three players who have produced good numbers in this league, and they just can't do a damn thing. And it's really just, it feels like it's just one of those years. It really does.
Yeah, well, Phillips is soft as baby poop.
Well, there's that.
So
I mean,
like
you could
like
also
he,
just say
there,
the
he's
Dolphins
the
are,
sole.
though. So there's that.
Well, yeah, but he is the sole reason we lost that Chargers game. If he sacks Herbert there, that game's over.
Oh, yeah. That's
Like
fair.
that game is over. And I don't know how you don't bring that man down when you are literally completely wrapped around him like this, around his shoulders, and the man just shrugs you off. Like you can't, as a grown ass NFL player, you cannot allow that. That is what you do. Your job is to take down the quarterback. I'd still be willing to give it up to Bradley Chubb that he's still coming back from injury because like he did.
Yeah, but so is
sustain a very
every
massive-
player on the front four for you guys. Is always coming
Yeah,
off an injury.
but I think the biggest disappointment so far this season is Zach Sealer decided to get paid and then lose all sense of how to play the game of football. Like he just made the most boneheaded decisions throughout the entire season, and it's just like he's good for like one, if not two, like back-breaking, and I mean back-breaking penalties every game, and it is so frustrating because he's been so good for so long. Like he under heralded, like just like under the radar, all this stuff. Then all of a sudden, just poof, yeah, deuces. I'm not doing anything anymore, and it's just like, yo, what? Like, what are you doing? So, I mean, there's other names on there. I mean, Matthew Judon, Jordan Brooks, and they did stuff last year. I don't know what's.
Not really. I mean, Chop Robinson's one that I got to point out that like really shocked me because I was lower on him a little bit, not by a ton, but I was definitely a little bit lower, and I was worried that he might not translate super well to the league initially. And he showed out as a rookie for the most part, and this year he's just been dreadful as a pass rusher.
Yeah.
Like it's really weird to me that how bad he's been in particular.
Yeah, well, I think his role has expanded this year, hasn't it? I think he was more of like a rush specialist.
I think he was third down
right?
specialist.
I mean,
like,
he's got
specialist.
93 pass rushes this year, and he had 344 last year. So
I
he's
wonder
on,
if
he's on a
volume-
slower pace actually than he's on a slower pace snaps wise this year than last year.
Oh, interesting.
In terms of like total snaps. So, granted, both the other edge rushers are healthy, so that's probably why. Like, it's not just that he's not playing well, but yeah, he's not doing much of anything so far. That's the one that might surprise me the most because rookie last year, you'd think getting a chance to not even have to play as much too. You'd think he's maybe even more efficient, but so far not so good with that. But Dolphins, yeah, it's a feel for it tonight.
Dolphins booty cheeks.
Yeah.
Woo!
All right, let me talk about my team and the most predictable letdown game maybe in the history of the sport.
Yeah.
Everything you would think would point to this game and say, okay, this is the Steelers' chance to prove that they're not the same damn team that they always are. And I even wrote about this. And I said, this is their chance. If they can win this game, even if it's not spectacularly, even if it's just like, you just got to get it done. And to be fair, they technically almost did, but I'll talk about that in a minute. But you just have to win this game against a Joe Flacco-led Bengals team in 2025 who can't do a damn thing right except occasionally throw the ball to their two premium receivers. And they found a way to fail to stop that one thing from happening. For them to lose this game in the way they did, if this was like a drag it out, like 20-17 close loss, defenses were just actually really good in this game, and they just got unlucky with the end of game situation. They lost, whatever. I would still be pissed because it's an opportunity missed that they could have buried the AFC North basically for good and just kind of coasted to the North title. But for them to lose to Joe Flacco throwing 47 passes, and like 50 of them, it felt like, even though he threw 47 to Jamar Chase, and they couldn't do a damn thing about it except that Chase dropped a couple of passes. Like, literally the best defense they had was Jamar dropping the ball. That is beyond frustrating. It's beyond frustrating. Granted, the guys they brought in the secondary are older players who probably don't have the juice to cover Jamar Chase, that type of player anymore. But you brought in all these secondary players, brought in this talent on defense. You have an offense that can actually score points this year when they need to, and you still found a way to lose to the Bengals. Even on, again, it's on the road, it's a Thursday night game, whatever. You cannot lose to Joe Flacco in 2025. I'm sorry. You simply can't do it.
Yeah, I mean, like, I get like they have great receivers, but like do something to mitigate it scheme wise. And also, I mean, we talked about earlier, like the game was lost on Sunday when you're worried about playing a shitty Bengals team with a 40-something-year-old Joe Flacco who's been on the roster 10 days, still barely even knows these guys, and you're concerned about that, like, you've already lost. And like you could tell too, like, Joe Flacco definitely, I mean, part of it is he's played the Steelers a bunch in his career. Yeah. And you could tell like they had a game plan specifically for that defense. But you know that. You have time, I know it's a short week, but you have time to make adjustments. Like, do some weird stuff with your coverages. I mean, Tomlin, you've been coaching for how long?
Like 19 years, buddy.
You know how to make changes to your defense.
He doesn't, though, is the thing. He doesn't. This is the thing that's so frustrating, is that, and there's been a lot of people who've come out, like, in Steelers media being like, well, if you watch the game, like, they were trying different stuff and all this. And I'm like, I understand. Like, I'm not saying they stayed in the same coverage all game. I'm not saying that the players are not to blame to some level too, because they just weren't playing well, because they weren't. Like, to be totally fair, like, they could have played a lot of different things and it still might have been the same, because they simply just weren't guarding Jamar Chase at all. But at the end of the day, when Jamar Chase after the game says, oh yeah, they did exactly what we expected them to do against us. When Joe Flacco says at the end of the game, oh yeah, we're just throwing out routes because I knew they were going to be open. Like, I didn't have to really worry about it. Like, it was pretty easy to do. That cannot be said about from a team that was 2-4, lost their starting quarterback, and was on a 4-game losing streak. You cannot have them after a game where they beat you be like, oh yeah, everything that we wanted to do, we did it. It was not a problem. It was fine. We knew exactly what the Steelers were going to do. We just kind of avoided everything they wanted to do to us. And it comes back to something I've said multiple times by covering this team and like talking about how this defense works. It is a player-led defense. It is a defense that they pay the most for it because they have to, because if they don't have the best players, they cannot win on defense. When they can't get home with their front four, and now they're blitzing a lot more this year because they have to, but when they don't get home, they are one of the worst defenses in the sport. They simply do not cover people well enough on the back end. And a lot of it is because they don't do a lot of different stuff in coverage. They kind of want to play their things. They like to do a lot of cover 3, cover 1. Like, they want to be that single high safety defense. The problem is, if your pass rush doesn't get home, you're going to get shredded in those situations. You're just going to. And they don't have any recourse to fix that if that's happening. Clearly they didn't, because Jamar Chase, again, he had 16 goddamn receptions. You should never allow other players to have 16 catches in a game on you. At some point you have to say, no, you're not catching the ball anymore. I don't care if there's 3 guys wide open. You're not going to be the one catching the ball.
Well, and it's like, you're playing Joe Flacco. Why wouldn't you just double A gap blitz every single play and make him roll out at least? Why not?
And I want to hear, because Zach hasn't really gotten to talk much with this, but I want to ask him how he feels about this one. But something that also frustrated me to no end. I understand you have your full, like, you have all of your guys back in the edge rush room. Nick Herbig getting 29 snaps in a game where you could not get home to rush the passer is completely insane. He is by far this team's best pass rusher at this point in time. A lot of people will tell you that's not true, and TJ's still the best pass rusher. They're full of shit. He does not rush the passer to the same level that Herbig does. Is he the same player that TJ is overall? No. TJ still has the best combination of everything for an edge rusher on this team. If you need to get to the quarterback, though, there's no player on this team that is better equipped to do that than Nick Herbig. And for him to play less than half the snaps on defense, it's like you're asking to lose the game. That's another one. I'm like, that's a coaching decision. That's nothing to do with scheme or anything else. That is Tomlin deciding he wasn't going to play his best pass rusher in a game where the quarterback dropped back like 50 times. You can't do that shit and expect to win. So wanted to throw that out there.
No, seeing these target share numbers are insanity. Yeah, the fact of targeting someone 23 times in one game is just absurd. But yeah, it was kind of crazy to watch, and especially because like it kind of felt like at some point they were really like that the Steelers had this and they were going to really start to like pull away, but then they just couldn't figure it out. And like I was hoping, and I'm like, no, I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing how, and I just didn't understand how somebody who was awful in like just a few weeks ago could just come in seamlessly. And then I'm sitting there, I'm like, yeah, well, that's what happens when all of a sudden you have no one to throw to, and now you have two of the better receivers in the NFL to target. You can do a lot more. But it was kind of crazy to just see a Steelers defense who's been able to, I mean, they didn't necessarily shut down the Vikings or the Jets, but they've been able to hold other teams in check when it came to defense. And it was just kind of weird to see them just fold. And like it just didn't make any sense. It just didn't make any sense. So it'll be interesting to see where they go from here, especially with a big game coming up against the Packers. Like it's not necessarily like a break. You got to like go straight into.
They'll find a way to win that one for no reason, and then they'll lose like two more in a row. It's going to be something stupid. But I did want to talk about.
I mean, that's 3 aren't easy. It's Packers, Colts, Chargers. Yeah. So
the Chargers will somehow be able to cobble together enough players to beat them too, probably just because.
Oh man, you can't lose.
We'll talk about them in a little bit. Yeah. But another note I wanted to talk about with this game, because this was one of those things where, like, in the grand scheme of things, it was not really the reason they lost necessarily, but I do think it contributed to it. As good as the offense was overall, Aaron did have one really bad interception, and then he had another interception because DK is the worst big receiver of all time and can't wrestle the ball away from a corner for some reason. But there was moments in the back half of that game where they were never down by more than 10 in this game, right? They were down 20-10 at one point, 17-27. Like, they were down a lot in this game in the second half, really, for the most part. But they were never, like, out of it fully. And yet they kind of abandoned the run late in the game, and they kept scoring, which, great, but you kept putting that defense back out on the field so fast. They were not taking time off the clock. Like, they're not trying to play the game a little bit, wear down the Bengals even more, because they're running rough shot through the Bengals defense. Like, Jalen Warren averaged like 8 yards a carry or something like that. And they kind of just, when they got down, they didn't stick to the run at all. They didn't try to keep that going and like keep the possession a little bit to give the defense a break. And I think they desperately needed it. I really think they did. And then even the touchdown to go ahead, a phenomenal play by Rodgers and Freiermuth to link up for that long touchdown to go ahead in the game. They did it with over 2 minutes left. And as soon as they scored that touchdown, I didn't even get excited because I'm like, the Bengals are going to go down and kick a field goal and win. I knew it before they even got the ball because they had over 2 minutes. You could not guard Chase. And then this is the worst part for me, is there was a point where in that field goal drive, Jamar Chase is literally open by 15 yards. There is no one within 15 yards of him on a little crosser because somehow they lost him. The fact that you were able to lose Jamar Chase in a gotta-have-it situation late in the game, it's almost feels impossible to me. It's almost like I got punked or something. Like, they could not have possibly done that, right? No, they did manage to lose that guy of all people and allow him to get like 20 yards for free, basically. And I think that that's just what this defense is at this point. If they play a veteran quarterback who knows what they're doing, they cannot do anything about it. And that's why Tomlin was so concerned about the trade, because he knew if the Bengals get rolling with him, they're going to be a problem for them. And I worry that they're going to be. So that's my final thoughts on that.
Baltimore's still winning that division, unfortunately.
If Baltimore managed to win the division, then they deserve to, because they have to win out, in my opinion. to do it.
Yeah, but have you seen their schedule?
I know, but Lamar might still not even be back this week, last I heard. And that's not good.
He's supposed to be back after. I thought he was supposed to be back.
That's what I thought too, but the last I heard is he's still not practicing. So
they're a candidate to bring in Tyler Lockett.
If the Ravens can still win this division, then good for them. They should, because
I mean, they play the Bears, Dolphins, Vikings, Browns, Jets, Bengals, Steelers, Bengals, Patriots, Packers, Steelers.
They will lose at least 2 of those games, at least, and that gives you 10 wins.
But if they sweep Cincinnati and Pittsburgh, they're probably winning that division.
They'll have a shot for sure if they do that. I don't know. I just feel like asking them to go 9-2 or better is just really hard with how bad that team looks, even when Lamar was playing. Like it's
fair.
Tough. You know what I mean? Like the Bears will probably beat them because they'll just run the ball 50 times for 300 yards and leave and just say we're done. Like Caleb might not have to throw a pass for them to win. Like that's how bad their defense.
I don't know if they want him to, anyways.
Well, anyway, let's move. Dalton, what's your second game? Colts versus Chargers, right?
Colts Chargers, yeah.
This was a game that happened.
Yeah, and I think I've decided I'm officially part of the NFL media now because I have done the thing the rest of the NFL media has been doing for 2 decades, and that is getting into the Chargers hype, buying into the hype about the Chargers, and then getting disappointed. And here's the thing. Now I'm going to be stuck in the cycle because here's what's going to happen. The Chargers, because everyone's hurt, they're going to miss the playoffs this year, not be very good. And they're going to get a pick in the teens, get a stud defensive lineman, and like, this team's got a chance to be really good this year. And then the cycle will continue. This team's just so hurt that, like, anytime they play, with all due respect, Zach, anytime they play a real NFL team, this is what's going to happen from here on out until people get healthy. Because this is Justin Herbert and Derwin James on an XFL team is more or less what it is. It's really, really bad. But also, I think the big thing is what really got exposed is they can't run the ball now. And so because they can't run the ball, what's finally happened is that defense has gotten exposed because they can't play the ball control offense that allows their defense to just feast on blitzes. And now the defense has to actually play like a normal NFL defense, and they don't have the talent to do it. It's really very average.
Like Khalil Mack and some other guys, like they just don't have the talent there,
especially with the injuries.
Yeah.
But also can't lose sight of the fact that the Colts are 6-1.
Yeah.
Colts are a wagon.
Man, that is the best coach team in the NFL outside of maybe the Niners, simply because of how banged up they are to be 5-2 still.
Here's the question. What was a bigger issue? Anthony Richardson or the Giants? Like, was it more the Giants just could not make Daniel Jones successful? Or is it that Anthony Richardson was just so bad that any warm body was going to be an upgrade over him?
I think
it's a combo of both.
I do think it's a combo of both. I think it was more that the Colts just simply couldn't run the offense that Steichen clearly wanted to run with Richardson. Fair. Because to be fair to like Daniel Jones has been coached well a couple times in his Giants career, especially in 2022. When they do a lot of stuff that they did with Jones in 2022, but just to a much better scale with much better weapons, a much better team around him. And he's playing in a way where he's not playing afraid, right?
Yeah.
He knows what he's supposed to be doing. He's executing the play calls. He has a wagon of an offense in front of him. And it's working because he's a quarterback that at his best, if he's not being forced to make a ton of difficult decisions, if he knows where he's supposed to go with the football early on and it's open, he can make the throws. Like, he's not this like uber talented thrower, but he's not a bad thrower of the football. He just isn't good at certain aspects of playing football, and they just haven't asked him to do those things. Now, do I think at some point, similar to like a Sam Darnold with the Vikings last year, Could they run into a wall of like the right defense catches them or something like that? Sure. But I think for the most part, this is a lot of real stuff going on. Like I don't think this is like a mirage per se. I think that a lot of this stuff is going to work against a lot of opponents. It just might not work against obviously every opponent. So we'll see like by the end of the year whether I think they're like a true like threat in the AFC necessarily. But in terms of regular season success, I mean, this is going to be a team that comfortably wins their division most likely and kind of coasts into maybe even if they can hang on to the number 1 seed, that'd be huge for their chances to do something.
The Chiefs probably aren't getting it at this point.
No, the Chiefs probably aren't. I mean, the Broncos can't win games the way they did every week. They can't keep doing it all the time. So I don't think they're going to.
I can't wait to talk about that one.
Yeah, that's a fun one. We'll get to that later. But like the Colts they're definitely Jonathan Taylor, by the way.
Oh, probably the best running back in football right now.
Him and Bijan and CMC are all kind of like taking like CMC's problem is that he just isn't as efficient as those guys because he's getting a lot of weird touches. But like, yeah, Taylor's production, he's gonna have like 20 plus touchdowns this year, pretty easily.
I think if you talk about pure rusher like that's where you would put Taylor up top. But as far as talking like this dynamic back and like
I mean Bijan, I think to me personally is the best overall running back in the league. CMC right there too, but he's obviously lost a little bit of juice, I think, especially as a runner.
Oh yeah.
But Taylor he was just gliding through this Chargers.
Oh yeah,
front four.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah. So.
Now put this scenario through your heads.
Boy.
How crazy is going to be is if barring the scenario that you just brought up, Shane, of Daniel Jones having a Sam Darnold type ending the season. To say he goes through the entire season, looks really, really good. Let's keep in mind, he's on a 1-year deal.
Yeah.
Watch the Colts get outpriced from Daniel Jones and have to turn back to Anthony.
Well, they wouldn't turn back to Anthony. They would sign someone.
I know, yeah, but like it was just like they could have probably locked him if they felt this way and were like, you're going to start. They could have maybe gotten 1 more year.
There's no way they knew this for sure, though. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, but I mean, it's just going to be very interesting to see that scenario pop up to where they don't get the opportunity to keep on to this long term because some other team is just going to come in and be like, oh yeah, look at all this. Let me take all that. Here you go. Here's money.
I would pay Daniel Jones what Geno Smith is getting paid right now.
No, here's what you do. They should give him.
I would not pay Daniel Jones what Tua is making.
They should give him the deal he signed with the Giants originally, because now it would actually be pretty okay. Because it was like $40 million a year. That's fine now if your quarterback is kind of good, because everyone else is getting 50 plus. So like, I don't think it's a bad. They should literally just be like, hey, the Giants deal you signed? Just do it again.
Yeah, and just to not be Geno Smith.
Yeah, like that'd be really funny. It's just again, like he's doing his job at a really high level, and I think the thing that is a little bit funny with him is that like when I've watched the games, like there's not a lot of like high difficulty stuff from him, but it's because the offense is so good that he doesn't have to. Like, and you could take this or leave it, and I think that it's pretty reflective of how he's played this year. But for example, PFF has him with six big time throws all year. That doesn't mean he's not playing well. It just means he's not attempting high difficulty passes very often. But you don't necessarily want your quarterback to have to do that if they don't have to, right? Like that's the thing about offensive, game planning is like if you can get guys wide ass open. Which, by the way, Tyler Warren's average separation on his catches has to be insane. Like every time he catches the football, I'm like, where's the defense at? It's very funny. Like they scheme stuff up so good with Steichen right now that like he doesn't have to attempt many difficult passes, right? So like if you can keep doing that, you're in good shape.
Yeah, we're officially entering like I think a new era in the NFL, and I think it could be really cemented this year if we get, instead of another Chiefs-Eagles Super Bowl, we get Daniel Jones versus Sam Darnold, Seahawks-Colts in the Super Bowl, and I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility.
I don't think it's possible. The Seahawks are weird to me. I can't decide how good I think they are.
I'll take Lions Colts. I'm fine with Lions Colts.
Dude, I think the Lions might need to call one of us to play corner next week, so I'm gonna have to hold off on that. I know they did really well against the Bucs, but like that was a weird game. But no, like I could see that for sure. Sam Darnold he's playing about as good quarterback as you can And granted, a good bit of it, JSN is phenomenal, to be fair.
Don't fall for it. Don't fall for it.
Again, last year, he's playing even better than he did last year. Like, that's the thing, is like, at some point, is he going to run into a wall because it's Sam Darnold? Probably.
Yeah.
But he's in a similar situation to Jones, where like the scheme, like it was with Vikings, is so good right now that he's playing very free, and he's even making a lot of more like true big time plays than anything Daniel Jones is doing, just because he has the opportunities to make them, right? Like they're calling plays for him to make those big time throws. And again, he's a guy that is a lot more arm talent kind of based as a thrower than Jones is. So like it's very interesting to see who some of the best quarterbacks in the league are right now. So it's certainly fun. To get to your game, your second game, Zach, Patriots versus Titans.
Well, we can have this be the follow up of, yes, the Titans did what they should have done before the season started and fired Brian Callahan.
Yeah, that needed to happen. Sorry, Brian.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
And Mike McCoy did a valiant effort.
For a minute there, it looked okay, and then
they came out strong. But the wheels fell off, as they should have, for the 1-6 Titans, because they are the Tatoons right now, and they are not good. They need to get much better on their overall depth chart. But that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about the other team, the New England Patriots, who are 5-2 and looking amazing right now. Man, let me tell you, Drake May is incredible, and I don't even really like. They can use getting a number one receiver, but he finds a way to turn what they had. I mean, there were plenty of quarterbacks who had Pop Douglas, Kayshon Boutte, Henry, Hooper, not Diggs and Hollins. Those are brand new, but they had all of those guys, and they did nothing with them. And now all of a sudden, this first year, second year quarterback comes in, and he is diming them up. Some of these throws were absolutely absurd. So he also got I'll actually say the Jackson Dart plus treatment when it came to that concussion, because there is no way they did a concussion test that fast for when he hit that turf. That was all of like 2 plays. Like they had more time to build up the drama on the Dart concussion check with how long that took, and even that was suspect. And you didn't even get a chance for them to even be like, "Oh, hey, Drake Mason, he's back." So that was a little weird, and it also is a little suspect with him when he's basically like in interviews been like, "Oh yeah, if you get up and look like you're not hurt, they're not going to say anything." So like, that's a little concerning. I don't want him to get hurt and miss out, but man, he looks as everything is advertised. I'm glad they let him sit last year, even though he started a little sooner than maybe some expected. That the snaps last year, he started to look good, and they've just really figured it out. They figured it out, and they look great. It's kind of what I can do is I can deal with this form of the Patriots being good, because Mike Vrabel's not an asshole in the sense that Bill Belichick was, and Drake May's a likable guy. Like I don't have any issues with him. It's not Brady and Belichick, Palpatine and Vader. Like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. Drake May right now, and I think it's really crazy to say this about a second-year player, but I think he's the most accurate passer of the football in the sport currently as we speak, like through this amount of games. I'm not saying he is like fundamentally like overall the most accurate passer, but I think if you watch him this year, no one has placed the ball more perfectly on a regular basis than this guy has. And when you have that trait as a quarterback, the weapons you have matter less and less. Because I'm not saying that the weapons aren't playing well, because they are. But when you are able to put the football wherever you want to, exactly where you want to, the amount of separation that you obviously need to get from your receivers goes down. Like, you don't need them to have 5-yard separation. You need them to have 3 or 2 or 1 sometimes. And when you have that trait as a quarterback, it just makes everything else so much easier to do offensively. Because, yeah, they don't have the best collection of weapons overall, but they have guys who fit specific skill sets and can do different things. And he's taking advantage of all of them in the ways you need to be able to have a good offense, right? And you look at this game, 21 of 23. It's obviously not like the ton of passes, but he's the most if you look at in the Patriots history, no one has completed this amount of passes, had this high of a completion percentage with that amount of passes. Brady never did it. No one else ever did it. It's against a bad Titans team. I get that, but that's what I mean when I say accurate. He just didn't miss on actual true attempts. There's a couple plays the 2 incompletions were nothing crazy, but he's been on the money to a point to a level that you really just don't see much from anyone, let alone a second-year player.
Yeah. I think the coaching staff's a big part of it. The coaching changes. Clearly they're doing things to make him comfortable, helping him grow. And I think a lot of that's Vrabel. I think this is a great example of the fact that Titans probably never should let Vrabel go. Because he's clearly a very good coach.
But we're not a win now team.
Idiots. Yeah, insane. Idiots. And then also the Titans are just a mess. And we didn't get a chance to talk about the Callahan firing, but while yes, I think firing Callahan is probably the right call. They clearly never really cared about succeeding with him, and that's kind of the issue. One last year you heard him in interviews. Clearly his issue was that needing to find a quarterback that can play in time.
Yeah.
And then they go and draft a guy who is never, ever going to play in rhythm in an offense. Even if Cam Ward succeeds, it's going to be because someone comes in and has him run the Deshaun Watson Texans offense. That's probably how Cam Ward would succeed. The only way Cam Ward's going to really be at his best in the NFL is if he's able to play like that. And that's not Callahan. So why are you drafting Cam Ward? I don't really know. But also it just seems like after last year, if you're drafting a quarterback in the first round, you're already assuming you're firing your coach the next year.
Yeah, it's been a trend if you're taking one first overall.
And it's at that point, it's you're just hiring a patsy. You don't even, you're not even concerned about who you hire. And it's it's almost as if these teams don't want their coaches to succeed year one with their quarterback because they want to justify firing him now that the job is more attractive. Look at the Patriots.
Yeah.
They weren't getting Vrabel last year. That wasn't an attractive job. Now, though, they have this promising rookie. Now it's an attractive job. Or they have this promising second-year quarterback. Now it's an attractive job. He comes in. Next year, you're going to have – the Titans will probably have their pick of candidates that want to work with Cam Ward.
The thing I find so funny, by the way, is the 2 names that have been brought up so far. I don't know if you guys heard this at all. Names have been brought up.
No, but I want to guess.
Okay.
Joe Brady.
Nope.
That one. No, interesting. Is it a former coach?
But both are former head coaches. Yes.
That aren't in the league right now.
They are in the league. They're currently coaching.
Okay.
But they're coordinators currently.
Jim Schwartz.
Nope.
No, I don't know.
Matt Nagy.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Arthur Smith.
Yeah.
Dude.
Wasn't Arthur Smith
the offensive coordinator for the Titans? Well,
time is a flat circle.
So all I'm saying, and honestly, I don't even have really that much of a problem with Arthur Smith this year. Last year, I didn't think he was that great. I think he's fine this year. I think him and Rodgers have done just fine. If they want to hire Arthur Smith away from my Steelers, go for it, dude. That's the funniest thing you could possibly do.
Yo,
Mr. 7-10 with the Falcons. You're gonna hire him and ask him to
honestly though, if I'm the Titans and the Dolphins decide to fire Mike McDaniel, I'm looking at that mess and being who wasn't the problem here? Mike McDaniel. Come on, let's give
he should be the offensive coordinator for the Dolphins.
Yeah.
For the Titans, not for the head coach. He is not a head coach, Zach. I'm sorry. He is not a head coach.
There is nothing that you can convince me about Miami, given the fact that Chris Greer has been a member of the roster construction of that team since before Stephen Ross was a majority owner.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing you can convince me that he is not the root problem of this issue.
Oh, he's the problem with the team.
There's nothing. anyone else is going to be able to do until he is gone from the team, that I don't like. It's not Mike McDaniel's fault. It is not, because you can't do what he wanted to do and then not invest in the offensive line the entire time he's been there. Like, they didn't do anything.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like,
and
he
so,
just isn't a head coach regardless to me. He just isn't.
If he wasn't in Miami and this wasn't the scenario, there's a lot of instances where I think that this could have ended a lot better, and we would be looking at him in the light that we saw him 2 years ago, especially, again, given the fact that when you look at the person who was in charge of roster construction, did they effectively do anything to support what your head coach clearly wanted to do outside of obtain speed? No, you got no protection whatsoever. You got nothing to maintain any rushing lanes. You got no power back at all until this year when you got Ollie Gordon. Like, we're going to a big rant on Miami here. But, again, I don't feel like McDaniel is the one that's the problem here. He looks like the problem now because he has to be the spokesperson for everything, because you know who isn't the spokesperson? Chris Greer, because he won't be a media presence until his one day in the offseason where he's like, I'll answer your questions now. And it's just like, this isn't fair. You're the reason this is messed up. So I think he would be fine, but I also understand why he would be offensive coordinator first again.
I think McDaniel can be a head coach again. I just think he needs to go somewhere that has a solid group of veteran captains, I think, and he needs a good staff around him for sure. But I just don't think he'd be a good fit with Cam Ward at all. I love the Matt Nagy idea, because I think to make Ward successful, you're going to need to do a lot of the similar stuff that the Chiefs have done with Mahomes. I think that style of offense is going to be how Ward will succeed in the NFL, because it is just not in him to go look at first, second, third read. He's just not going to do it. You know, he plays by feel, and he's very good when he can just play by feel. But I also do wonder how long you can do that in the NFL and how high of a level you can do that.
I mean, he's going to have to evolve as a player regardless of who's brought in here.
Yeah, to an extent.
And I think, whoever that is brought in, that's going to be their goal, is like make him effective now by doing the things he does well and helping him do those. But you have to then build upon those skills, right? And I think that he has the requisite talent to do that. I don't know if he has the ability from like a processing standpoint to do that, because he hasn't really shown a lot of that up to this point.
No, and he's 23,
something
24?
like that. Yeah, he's not young prospect for sure. It's just, again, like this is again, okay, so I don't want to sit here and harp on it too much with McDaniel, right? And it's very funny that he said this, right? My expectation is that we don't throw 10 picks is an insane thing to say at a press conference.
Who said that?
Mike McDaniel on starting Tua in week 8, my expectation is that we don't throw 10 picks. That's what his quote was.
Oh, yeah, because he's fed up with Tua's shit. Again,
I'm not saying he's wrong, but you're the head coach of the football team who's deciding to start him in week 8. And you're saying my expectation is don't throw 10 picks. You're just like dunking on the dude that you're still trotting out there is hilarious to me.
Yeah, that's
like,
kind of
the
issue.
It's funny. It is. I'm not even saying he's wrong for it, but you're the head coach of the team.
Let's not act like Tua hasn't also brought this on himself.
Oh yeah,
the things that he said in the media.
But then bench him.
Yeah, or at least if you're not going to bench him, don't say, "Hey, my expectation is don't throw 10 picks." If you would have said not throw 3 picks, I would have been like, "Okay, he's just quoting what happened last game and saying he needs better." Him deciding to say 10 picks is just funny, is it not?
I mean,
not just a funny thing to say.
He's thrown 10 through 7 games. That's true. Where that number I think is still from.
Yeah, no, but that's insanely right there. But that's the problem, is they've all been in moments where it's make or break time, and he has just crumbled I find that quote fine, because let's be real. Who's letting them down?
I get it, but do you want if you're in a position where you're saying that as a coach, like you're the most fired dude on the planet? I'm sorry.
You're right. But then you sit there and listen to Stephen Ross, and he's like, no, he's not going anywhere. And I'm like, I mean,
at this point, I would leave him in place for now, just so you hopefully don't win another game. And then you can have the first pick.
I truly, ironically, don't believe that, because with what this organization is, I will not be surprised if Stephen Ross is like, yo, one more time, let's try it. Tyreek's back.
Tyreek's not back, by the way, because he's going to be paid $60 million if he's on this team next year or something like that. I forget what the number is. It's crazy. I forget what his cap hit is.
I mean,
it's something insane.
And again, that's why I keep telling everybody who's like, "Oh, just cut Tua." No, Tua's going to be on this team next year because if you do, then you have to give him $90 million.
He's literally like, if they were to cut him, like they're going to fold as a franchise. I think like they wouldn't be allowed to play football. I don't think
it's again the exact same reason why Cleveland still has Deshaun Watson on the roster.
This is fair.
Back to the game we were talking about.
Yes, back to the game we were talking about. Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah.
Are the Patriots going to win this division?
Yes, I think.
Yes.
I think they will.
Yes.
The Bills can't play defense.
That's nuts.
They can't play defense, Dalton. And the offense, while good, because Josh Allen is the quarterback for it, there's a lot of just dudes out there, man. There's not a lot. There's not a lot of guys out there.
And James Cook needs somebody else to step up and take some pressure off the rushing attack, because like you can't. Again, another team that I wrote for that should probably look into signing Tyler Lockett to see if he has any juice left in the tank, because you got to do something at this point. And that whole situation is very interesting. Talking about this game, that Tyler Lockett was like, "Yo, get me off this team.
Get me the hell out of here." He's got like 70 yards.
Yeah.
Like,
well, Patriots. I think that might be more so just.
No, I'm just saying, like, why would he want to stay on this team at this point?
Exactly. Yeah. Send me somewhere where I can actually because he's not cooked yet. Like he's not a cooked receiver at all.
I don't think
he just needs somewhere that's going to give him some opportunities. And a great. I mean, look, I don't know what's going on with Buffalo, and it could go into Joe Brady's chances at getting some looks this offseason for a head coach, but they got to figure something out, because it can't just be you're relying on Allen. And if that's the case, you're setting the ball on the tee for Vrabel in May to just take this division home.
Yeah. We had Patriots next 6 games for their bye: Cleveland, Atlanta, Tampa Bay, Jets, Bengals, Giants. I mean, they're winning at least 4 of those games.
Probably 5.
Yeah. So they're going to probably.
Tampa's the only one that scares me, really.
Yeah. At worst, 9-4, probably 10-3 heading into the bye with 4 games left. And then they got now Buffalo, Baltimore will be kind of a lot better by then.
Hopefully.
More than likely. Yeah. Hopefully. Jets.
You still get a game with Miami.
They finished with the Jets and Dolphins, though. I mean, they're winning at least probably 3 of those last 4. I mean, I don't see any way they're not winning minimum 12 games at this point.
This sounds so stupid, but where's that Miami game?
It's at Miami, which is true.
No.
It's at home. It's at home. Never mind.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah, Dolphins certainly are not.
They're stomping. They're stomping.
In New England, there's no way Tua can play that game.
He might not be playing anyway.
Do you want to know something funny?
He won't be healthy by then. Even if he is.
They broke it a couple years ago, but there had been an unwritten rule in the NFL where the NFL would not schedule the Dolphins in December in New England, because it's in the 70s or 80s. There was a game where the Patriots, it was snowing in December, and the Patriots had the snowplow come out and plow a section of the
field so they could kick a field goal to win. Yeah. I remember that.
And then the Dolphins did not get the same opportunity. So the league was like, yeah, well, we're not going to say that they did anything wrong, but you know what? We won't schedule to play there anymore during December.
Yeah. Who's the Bills play in Week 18? Because that might determine how likely it is that
they have to play the Jets.
Oh, is it the Jets? Okay, well then they're probably
going to win that one. Because it's all divisional.
That's right. Yeah,
that's right. That's true. Divisional last week.
Pretty sure that's the case. Usually, right? Yeah. But anyway, yeah, the Bills certainly might not win this division, which is crazy. Let's talk about our last game here, because it was one of the games of all time, folks.
It was a game.
The amount of stupidity that took place in this football game on both ends of it is mind-numbing. There is a game was played in the NFL where the quarterbacks combined to complete just under half of their passes, and both teams scored over 30 points. That by itself is very funny.
Well, also, why is Bo Nix throwing the ball 50 times?
Well, they were down 19-0 in the fourth quarter, and they scored 33 points in the fourth quarter, Zach. So, of course, they had to throw the football. Real quick, in case anyone didn't see it, there's a reason why my little title thing is Bo Nix is Tim Tebow, because this man has played about 8 good quarters, and 7 of them were in the fourth quarter. I don't know what the hell's going on with Bo Nix and Sean Payton in that offense, but they can't do a damn thing right 90% of the time. But you get them in the fourth quarter, and it's like they're like, well, who gives a shit? And they just start doing wild shit, and it works. And at some point, you have to ask yourself, can't you do some of this stuff in the first quarter, in the second quarter? Hell, even the third. Get it going a little earlier at least. But no, it's all, if for some reason, Bo Nix will play the most tragic football I've ever seen in my entire life for 3 quarters every week. He'll miss a wide open receiver downfield by 15 yards, it feels like. And in the fourth quarter, he can do no wrong. He is just Tim Tebow, but like not as bad as Tim Tebow in the first 3 quarters, but still not good. It is insane the way that they're winning some of these football games. And then the Giants side of it, Jackson Dart is the funniest quarterback in the league right now. The amount of times where I saw this man just like run around and then just take a sack for no reason is comical. He won't throw the football away. He'll be like running towards the sideline, and instead of just flipping the ball out of bounds, he just takes like a 4-yard sack for no reason that I can figure out. And it's infuriating. And he goes 15 of 33. One of his touchdowns is a deflected pass, which that was not the first time that happened, or that was not the only time that happened in this game, by the way. The Broncos also got a deflected touchdown. The ball was doing crazy shit in this game. But Theo Johnson gets a touchdown because Jackson admittedly threw a good pass, but it didn't get caught. It did not get caught. And then Theo Johnson's just like, oh, here's a touchdown, I guess. This game was a fever dream from start to finish. I've never seen such a thing. How do we explain it? And then the best part is Jackson Dart tried to lose the game at the end like 3 different times, and they kept getting bailed out with penalties. And the one time, the safeties damn near killed each other trying to intercept the ball, and they dropped it because of it. And then he still gets the touchdown to get the lead, and they can't keep the Broncos from getting a field goal with like 23 seconds on the clock. What the hell happened in this game, guys?
Yeah,
I'm missing stuff probably too.
Well, someone needs to check on Jude McAtney that he's okay, because those 2
He's
missed
not.
extra points.
He's not.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I know, because that was a fan react I had to write on Sunday,
Yeah.
and the tweets that I saw on Twitter where
it's not
something.
Giants fans were upset to say the least. Yeah.
It's New York.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was pure insanity. I'm still amazed that they were able to score 33 points in 1 quarter, and J.K. Dobbins, the only player that I needed to finish my touchdown parlay, did not score a touchdown.
Yeah, put the ball in the
air. So, yeah, it was bananas. I get what you're saying about Bo Nix not being Tim Tebow, but Tim Tebow also wouldn't have had 2 passing touchdowns and 2 rushing touchdowns in 1 game. That just doesn't seem
I think he did a couple times with the Broncos in that one season. Remember where he had like 8 fourth quarter comebacks or something like that?
I don't know if they ever scored enough points for him to do that.
Maybe not 4 touchdowns. You're right, but
but yeah, no, it's very interesting to see what's going on, because like I don't think anybody would sit here and is a franchise level quarterback, but he's not bad. He's not awful. He's definitely vibes with Sean Payton very well, and they're able to figure out.
Weird this year more so than
it's been weird.
Else.
You're right. It's been weird, and I don't know if it's weird. It's weird. I don't know what they're trying to do. Like I think it might be kind of a youth thing, and he's kind of a bit more like. Both of these quarterbacks are feels quarterbacks. They're not X's and O's quarterbacks. And that's where you look at a coach like Sean Payton, where it's like, oh, that's an X's and O's coach. And that's why they butt heads so much in a good way. But like, that's why it feels weird at times. Once he understands, like, oh, if I sit here and follow through with the things that for the offense, it'll feel so much more fluid. It feels so disjointed at times, I think is the right word. It doesn't look bad, but like, sometimes just like, yeah, what are you doing? Whereas like Jackson Dart on the opposite side has found the perfect coach for him to be like, oh yeah, no, let me do my thing, man. And Brian Daboll is like, oh yeah, no, do your thing, man. You totally are saving my job right now. So they're fun. I feel bad for New York though, because that's a very, very tough way to lose a game. And they're a little feel good, but you got to have those games that are a bit gut checks for you to remember that you're not that good of a team, and you still have a long way to go.
Yeah, here's the issue with Bo Nix. So if you guys were offensive coordinators putting together a game script, Bo Nix is your quarterback. How many times would you be? How many times would you ideally want Bo Nix throwing the ball a game, Shane?
How many times I want him in a game? You said.
Yeah.
I mean, you get past 30, I'm starting to be like, all right, what are we doing?
Right. How about you, Zach?
I was gonna say in a perfect game script, 20 to 25. But if it had to be a bit more pass heavy, you want him to be 25 to 30.
Yeah, 25-30 feels right. Bo Nix this year is throwing the ball on average just over 36 times a game.
It's too much.
Yeah.
Too much.
That's just way too much.
It's because they can't score points until the end of the game where they have to throw to get back into it.
But also,
they keep putting themselves in these bad game scripts because they can't get the offense going early enough.
But
So
they're
they have
not just
Carolina
waiting until the
Panthers
fourth quarter to
syndrome.
throw.
Oh no, I'm just saying like that's why it's so high, like because you get inflated in that way. But they are too
because
fast.
They're asking him to do way too much this year. Like
sure.
that's kind of really it. And I mean,
So they have Carolina Panthers syndrome, but they can actually finish off the comeback.
Yeah. Like the problem is Bo Nix is not Drew Brees. And I don't think Sean Payton can understand that. I think he thinks he has young Drew Brees, and he just doesn't because Bo Nix, unlike Drew Brees, does not have a bionic arm.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's just not going to be able to carry this team that way. And I mean, part of it is I don't think they have the running game to really lean on. J.K. Dobbins ain't it.
They have
RJ
to.
Harvey, I don't think is ever going to be more than a good member of a committee.
I do think at some point, though, with how much he's liked him in the draft capital, you have to give him the reins for a game or two and just see if it works. Because like they're not doing it, and like he at least has the explosiveness potential, right? Like Dobbins just doesn't have that. Like he's a tough runner, and he'll get you yards. But he's not getting the chunk plays that would allow you to not have to
anymore.
Yeah, put the ball in the air a bunch of times to get them, right?
Yeah.
And again, I was a pretty big fan of Harvey. I still think it was a little early for where they took him, even for me. But I think they need to at least see what they have in him as like a full-time player just to see if they can get some of that explosiveness. Because he's had it sometimes. But like ideally, he's like, again, the ideal world is he's like 90% of Alvin Kamara and you find a dude to play with him. Right, like maybe that is Dobbins for right now or whoever, like to be the other running back. But like you need to see if he can do that, and I think now would be the time to try.
Yeah, and also like if you are gonna throw the ball with Nix, like you need to get like real weapon. They don't have any run after the catch guys. Like that's the big issue. Don't. It's like, I mean, in an offense, ideally for Bo Nix and Sean Payton to work, like you need guys that are gonna be yak monsters. And instead you have Troy Franklin.
Yeah, who like he's flashed a couple times, but man,
I mean he's a possession receiver, a pure possession receiver.
Who couldn't catch until this year, kind of.
Yeah.
That's fun.
I think the big thing that, and I mean you guys might not be in this group, but I think one thing that people need to realize with Sean Payton, and until the majority of the NFL realizes this, a lot of people are going to continue to dupe themselves into believing this. While he may be a good offensive play caller and offensive scheme guy, he lucked into having Drew Brees on his roster, and he might not be the best offensive talent scout and an eye test person to be the one to pull the trigger on some of these picks. So, no diss to Bo Nix, and he might be a solid quarterback, but I don't know if that's necessarily because Sean Payton was sitting there like, oh yeah, Bo Nix, that's our guy. That's who we need to go. And I think we kind of not delude, but we just kind of like overestimate the fact that that Breeze and Payton came to each other by happenstance. It wasn't like, again, Payton was like, oh, I want Breeze. Like,
I mean, I think he did want him, but I also think the Dolphins, unfortunately, Zach, are the reason that happens ultimately. So, there's that.
Yeah, I know.
So I'm sure you know that. So
I'm well aware.
Yeah.
Dante Culpepper, baby.
Yeah.
With Nix, I think the issue is just that, like, I mean, I think he is a quote unquote franchise quarterback, depending on how you define that.
Yeah.
But I don't think he is a Josh Allen, Mahomes type. I think I always said I think his ceiling is like a Dak level quarterback. Where if you have a really good, and I don't think he's quite there yet, but I think that's kind of why they drafted him, is that his floor is so high. And I mean, I think you're seeing the high floor right now. But I mean, you're only going to go so far unless you put a fantastic team around him, and he just doesn't have any weapons on offense other than Cortland Sutton, kind of.
Yeah, and even him, with the way that he plays, it's not a great fit for those two. I don't think they play off each other.
Same with Evan Ingram. Super disappointing this year.
Yeah, unfortunate. But yeah, like
in Jacksonville.
Yeah, the Broncos are they're so weird to me because like I watch them and I'm like, man, if this offense could consistently score points, they'd probably be one of the best teams in the league, and then they just can't do it. Yeah. And then ever so often the defense just has weirdly bad games too, and it's like, all right, well,
when your offense does nothing, I mean, it hurts. I think holding your opponents to 19 points, especially when your offense isn't even like possessing the ball.
No, it's fine. Yeah,
and like it's not like the defense is the only reason they even had a shot in that game.
For sure.
And I mean, that's the thing. Like this defense, I still think it might be a historically great defense. If they could just get the offense a little bit.
Yeah, could be. Like ever since I know it was only a little bit ago, and like the Jets game is going to stick with me for a while. I know it was overseas, blah blah blah. They tried to lose the game to the Jets, and the Jets are just so bad they refused to take the win. But they really tried to hand the win to the Jets basically on offense. They just couldn't do it. And I worry against like a really good playoff opponent again. Like, can they do enough offensively to allow the defense to hunt and actually get after it a little bit? I don't know yet. We'll have to see.
Like if they played the Chiefs tomorrow, I don't think they win.
No, I don't think so either. No.
I still go that game, that 70-point game, was a turning point for both franchises.
Yeah, it's been mostly bad for the Dolphins ever since that.
I mean, like the thing that gave the Broncos up has turned the other way around and been one of their. Talk about another former Dolphins person, Vance Joseph. Jesus, they're everywhere. But yeah, it definitely like a turn of the tables for both franchises of like riding high and then all of a sudden crashing and then them being bad and turning it around and figuring things out. So.
Yeah, absolutely. But unless you guys have any other comments on any of the games we talked about, should do it for us this week. Glad we were able to get back going this week. Try to do it every week, obviously, but just making sure everybody can show up and do this. So, but any other thoughts on this week, guys? Any games we didn't talk about? You just want to shout out quickly or anything like that?
No, I just can't wait to lose the Atlanta Falcons next week.
Yeah,
thank God it's a bye week.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about it.
I don't have to watch this.
At least you don't have to be disappointed.
Well, don't say that because there's a good chance that Max Crosby is gone by the time they play now.
I've been hearing, speaking of that Dallas is interested, which is so funny, dude.
Yeah.
No. So I was listening to Bomani Jones' podcast today, and he literally they were talking about that. He's like, "Yo, if you just traded Micah Parsons to the Packers to turn around a few months later and get Max Crosby, why are you doing this backwards?"
Just trade the younger, potentially, probably at this point, especially if you're going projecting forward, better player, just to trade for an older player than that who is still very good, obviously. But what are they even getting? Like, are they going to have to give up one of the firsts and more stuff? Probably.
I mean, 2 firsts has been the starting point. It sounds like.
So yeah, if they do that, the funniest thing they could possibly do.
Here's the thing. Here's why it makes no sense for the Raiders. So, like, if you're the Raiders, the only reason you trade Crosby is sheer altruism, and that you just are willing to screw your own. If Mark Davis is willing to screw his own franchise for the next several years in order to let Max Crosby go ring chase, that's it.
That's the only reason. You're right, because like somebody has to play for the Raiders at some point when they're good,
and,
right?
Like, he's still relatively young.
He's not like 32 or something. Like we don't have to.
I don't think he's even like he might be 30.
He might be, and I don't think he's that. He might be. I think he's 29. I thought, but maybe I'm wrong about that.
Yeah, he is. He's 28. I'm sorry.
28. So I thought,
younger
okay.
than
wow.
me. Well,
Yeah.
that sucks.
Damn.
I that now I feel old. But
Right.
but yeah, he there's no reason why he can't be a productive member of your team for the next 5 to 8 years.
Yeah, so you're basically, if you trade him at this point, you're basically saying we're going to be so ass for like multiple years in a row that there's no reason for him to be on the team, and his value is as high as it's going to get. Which, like, fine if that's the case, but that sucks.
Yeah,
That
like I mean,
sucks.
you're committed. You're saying you don't plan on being good for like you don't plan on being competitive at any point in the next 2 years.
Yeah,
2 or 3 years, probably minimum.
Well, fresh from an hour ago from Tom Pelissero, the Raiders don't plan to trade Crosby.
Yeah.
No one plans to trade Max
No.
Crosby until Max Crosby offers come in.
The one that's even sillier, though, is that they don't plan to trade, or apparently they're still not going to trade Jacoby Myers, which makes
if they do not give that man an opportunity to go fucking leave, he literally said today, like, "Oh, for sure, I want to be traded still."
Yeah.
Let him go. What are you doing?
He's on a 1-year deal. Like, he's going after
I
this
know.
year. They're going to get
What do you-
nothing for him. He's not coming back.
What are you gonna
They
get
would
a
have to make
comp
him
pick?
literally the highest paid receiver in the league.
Yeah, it's like what are you gonna do? Get a comp pick that's like the same as you're probably gonna get now, like, and it's just a guaranteed like actual 4th-round pick opposed to like a comp 4th-round pick. Like that's what like
I think they could get a 2nd-round pick from Tampa Bay for him tomorrow.
Dude, honestly, maybe with the way they're going. I want him to be a Steeler personally, but I don't expect that to happen.
Yeah.
But ultimately, like, yeah, if you don't trade him, maybe you should trade Max Crosby. Maybe you should just trade him because like you clearly don't know how to run the franchise anyways. So just trade all the players that are good.
That's been known for a while.
Yeah. Ask Tom Brady what he thinks he should do. No.
No, they can't ask him because then he can't go in the booth on Sundays.
Well, I don't think they care anymore about that.
No, they've just decided that rule doesn't matter.
No, which honestly,
they have.
I respect it honestly.
If you're a coach or player, why are you telling? You're not. If you're telling Brady anything, you're an idiot.
Yeah. What are you talking about? Anyway, no, that'll do it for us this week, though, guys. We'll be back hopefully next week, talking about at least probably 2 of our teams, maybe not all 3, obviously, because Raiders won't be participating in it this week.
Depending on how bad it was, I might spare you guys. So
hey, I might have to then, Zach. I might have to make you no, I'm just kidding. I don't know. We'll see. Only if something notable happens in that, but we'll see. But yeah, that'll do it for us this week, and we'll see you guys next.